Hello everyone, welcome back to your own channel of Explore Body, Mind and Soul. I'm Sonia. The topic which we are going to discuss today is finite and non-finite verbs. What do you mean by finite verbs? Finite verbs change according to the tense and the number or person of the subject. What do we mean by tense? That either it should be present, past or future, and subject always depends on the number, that is either it is singular or plural, and person is dependent on being first person, second person or third person, that is I, you, he, she, they. So if these change in a sentence, then your finite verb also changes. Let's understand how. If the tense changes, I say, let's take an example of the verb go. Okay. And if the tense changes, if it is present tense, he goes. So the verb form go has changed into goes. And if we talk about past tense, go changes into went. So the form has changed into went. And when we are talking about continuous tense, that means it has changed into ing form. He is going. And when we talk about future tense, he will go. See the different forms of the verb go just because of the change in the tense. And when the subject changes, if the person changes, if the subject is first person, let's take the verb here walk. If the subject is first person, that is I, then the verb is walk. If the subject is third person she, the verb changes into walks. If the third person is they, it again changes into walks. So there is lot of variation just depending on the person, tense. And let's see the last case, that is number. In case of first, or you can say singular subject, the verb was eats. That is the singular form of the verb. All of them eat. Again the form has changed. Here the verb taken was eat. So you can notice that when we change the person or number or the tense, in all the three cases, the form of the verb kept on changing. Now comes our second type. As we discussed in the first slide, that verbs are of two types, that is finite and non-finite. Now coming to non-finite verb, which we can remember with the word non. Wherever you see non means no, no change. There is no change in non-finite verbs. Even though the tense changes, the person changes or the number changes. So the verb forms that do not change with the change in the person or number of the subject or due to the change of the tense are known as non-finite verbs. Now let's understand with the help of examples. We have taken the verb walking here. So even if I am talking about present tense, past tense, future tense, in all the three cases, walking remained walking only. Walking is good, walking was good, walking will be good. Walking remained walking in all the three tenses. Similarly, even if I change the person from first person to second person to third person, the verb remained same, that is walking. I like walking, you like walking, they like walking. Now in third case, when the number was changed, Sankalp likes walking. Here we are talking about singular subject, that is Sankalp. But when I said Sankalp and Parth like walking, here although the number was plural, still walking didn't change. Walking remained walking only. So you can notice that Non-finite verbs don't change even though tense or the number or the person changes. Now let's see the examples with verb plus to, which are again one of the classifications of non-finite verbs. So I have tried to take this example also to make it clear that with the change in the tense or the subject, there is no change in non-finite verbs. For example, it's good to walk, present tense. It was good to walk, past tense. It will be good to walk, future tense. I wish to walk. Here we have used first person. You wish to walk. We have taken second person. They wish to walk. We have taken third person. Sankalp likes to walk. Sankalp and Path like to walk. So in all the cases, we can see that our non-finite verb was not affected, even though the number changed, the person changed, the tense changed, it remained same. Now, non-finite verbs are further classified into three categories, that is gerunds, infinitives and participles. Now, what do you mean by gerunds? Gerunds are your verbal nouns. What are gerunds? Gerunds are verbal nouns, that is verb plus ing. Here they name the action. That means gerunds are always used as nouns. Whenever you see a verb along with ing and acting as a noun, that is a gerund. Now infinitives, this is the second classification of your non-finite verbs, although they also act as nouns, but what is the difference? They don't end with ing, rather they take to before them. Generally they take to before them, but they can be without to even. Before I make it messy, I would request all of you to take a screenshot of this slide, because I know I turned the slides messy. So before I do that, please take a screenshot. This is really going to be of aid to all of you. And previously also you take the screenshot of the first slide, in which I have given the difference, or you can say a second slide. Yeah. Now participles. What are participles? Participles are verbal adjectives. Although they are verbs only, but they act as adjectives in a sentence. So that means they qualify a noun. They don't act as a noun, rather they describe a noun. They can end in ing also, they can end in ed or third form of the verb depending on their type, because your participles are further divided into three types, which we'll be discussing in our upcoming video. So I don't want to confuse you right now. Let's simplify just by telling that non-finite verbs are further divided into three parts. Let's see with the help of examples what the real difference between the three is. I have taken the same verb, sleep. When we write sleeping is required to maintain good health, isn't it acting as a noun here? Just notice the sentence. Sleeping is, like if I say running is required or whatever, it's acting as a subject first thing, and second thing, it's the name of the action. It's not the action itself. Now second example is the sleeping cup is mischievous. So here I am describing the cub. What is the cub doing? Sleeping. So here what is cub's quality? That it is a sleeping cub, which is mischievous. And third example is, so here it was our participle. It was acting as a participle because it is describing the noun. And in third case, the cub wanted to sleep. In this case, it first thing is to. Wherever you see to plus verb, that also gives you an indication that it must be our infinitive, and second thing is it's acting as a noun. The cup wanted. Wanted was the main verb here. To do what? Whenever a question answers what answers, then it is generally your noun. So wanted to do what? To sleep. So you can take a screenshot of this slide as well. Okay, hope the concept was absolutely clear of what are finite and non-finite verbs. So I just wanted to give you a brief idea about finite and non-finite verbs here, and I have just given you the classifications of non-finite verbs, although we'll be taking these things in details in our upcoming videos, but till here the concept should be clear. Still, if you have any doubt, any queries, you can write in the comment section below, or you can join our Facebook group, the link of which has been mentioned in the description box below. Hope you have seen all my grammar videos till now, because I always teach with the help of flowcharts, which are going to be very helpful to you in the long run, and I would request all of you to make those flowcharts in a drawing file or on plain sheets, or maintain a diary. Stay connected, and as usual, keep exploring, keep sharing, and keep smiling till our upcoming video. And I have also started a series of an idiom a day, and I would request all of you to subscribe if you haven't, so that you get an idiom every day, and this will really enhance your vocabulary and collection of vocabulary. That means 30 idioms per month. Along with that, I keep on giving short tips on grammar, with which you can learn grammar very easily and also learn to speak in English fluently. Thank you so much for your precious time. Bye.